Well, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a trail camera review, and this is the Ceyomur CY55. Now this trail camera company has a wide range of trail cameras and different models available, and this particular model is their No Glow or Black Flash trail camera. That should make it nearly invisible to the naked eye. It's a 20 megapixel trail camera capable of taking 1080p video. I'm going to do a quick unboxing of this trail camera, but then more importantly, I'm going to be putting it out into the woods and start collecting sample photos and videos to show you exactly what type of quality you can expect from this trail camera. I'll then bring it back and give you my final thoughts after using this trail camera a month or two. I'll tell you the pros and cons as I see it. Let's first get into the unboxing. So it is the model CY55. And it has hidden IR, that is the 940. Lights on it, just 1080p video, waterproof. Get our user's manual inside of here. Here's the actual trail camera. We'll take a closer look at that in just a second. But there's also a tree strap with a plastic buckle on it. Also has a USB cable and a wall mount that would give you an optional mounting ways, whether it be on a building or a post or something like that. Let's take a closer look at the camera. Of course, you got a covering that covers your lens. Here are your hidden IRs for your nighttime. Your lens, down here's your PIR sensor. Has two big latches here on the side. Looking on the back here then, it also has a place for a Python security cable and your tree strap. On the bottom it does have a 1/4-20 mount, and it does have an external power port, and that is 6 volts. Looking inside the camera, you do have a display screen here. It's a digital screen that'll give you, you'll be able to play back your photos or videos right on the camera if you so choose. It also will be able to set up your menu. If you look, it has a 3-position on-off switch. So you have on, off, and setup mode, and that's how you'll access your menu. Here, don't forget to remove all the coverings here. If you would leave that covering on, it could affect the camera's performance. The batteries are inserted underneath the camera. There's another latch here, and the bottom swings open, and it takes 8 AA batteries. So if this is mounted to a tree, and you open that up, your batteries are automatically going to fall out. A little bit of a negative, but we'll touch on that in the pros and cons at the end of this video. This camera also takes a full-size SD card right here on the side, and I believe you can put up to 32 gig card in there. So next, I am going to be placing a full-size SD card in this trail camera. Also put 8 AA batteries. Then I'm putting it out into the woods and start collecting sample photos and videos. I'm going to start showing those to you right now. Well, I've been showing you sample photos and videos I've received from this trail camera over the past 2 months. I've actually ran this camera at 2 different locations. That should give you a real good idea of how it's going to perform in both the open field and in a more wooded type situations. I'll continue to show you some sample footage, but it's now time for my final thoughts. I think this camera performed quite well, especially in the daytime. The daytime videos and photos were excellent quality. There were times at night when the night videos could get a little bit grainy, especially if the animals were out there quite a distance. With that said, another positive would be its trigger speed and its trigger distance. I felt like the camera was triggering very quickly, and I wasn't catching just the backside of an animal, or if something passed by. It did exceptionally well at capturing that image. The trigger distance was also quite impressive when I had it set up there in that wide open space with the stump in the middle of the frame. The animals or the deer sometimes would pass well beyond the stump, and it seemed that this camera was picking them up each and every time. Another thing about this camera that I really like is the design. When you open the two latches and you open up the lid, the lens and the camera stay stationary. That makes setup an absolute breeze, and in my opinion, this is the best type of design of trail camera. It allows you to strap this to the tree, turn it on, and the screen displays exactly what this lens is seeing. When you can get it set up just perfectly, you can frame your shot and never have the camera angled too high or too low. This also makes it nice if you're hanging it high in a tree and angling it down. Again, you can open up the lid here and see exactly what the camera's seeing without the lens actually swinging away with the lid. That's a great design. A little bit of a negative or a con to that design is the battery compartment. The battery compartment is actually integrated with the 1/4-20 mount, and so if you're going to use that accessory mount and put it on a tripod or some other type of mount, your battery tray is connected to that. It makes it that you almost have to remove this trail camera in order to change the batteries. Another thing with this type of a battery lid that swings open, it's not an actual tray that slides in there. When you open the battery compartment and the camera's in this position, all the batteries are automatically going to fall out. A little bit of a inconvenience, so I would put that portion down as a con. Switching back to the positives again, this camera is their No Glow or their black flash. It is equipped with 40 940 IR bulbs. So this camera cannot be seen by the human eye. It's still possible that the animals might be able to see that. So if you are going to be using this camera as a security camera, or maybe you are using it as a trail camera and you don't want anybody to see it at night when it's out in the woods, this camera will not give any type of red glow at all. With those 940 IR bulbs and this smoked out screen, you will not see any glow when this is operating at nighttime. The photos and videos are in two different aspect ratios, so to me that's a little bit of a negative. It kind of comes down to personal preference, but I like them both to be widescreen if possible. These are not. The photos are at 4.3 aspect ratio, while the videos are 16.9. So as you can see in the samples, the photos had the black bars on the side, while the videos filled up your whole screen there. That's the difference in aspect ratio. There's no way to change that. There's no setting for that in this particular camera. One other thing to keep notice, not necessarily bad or good, but the lens is only a 55-degree lens, so it is a pretty narrow field of view. Now that in itself isn't necessarily bad, but you do have to keep in mind when you're setting up this camera what your field of view is. It will not be as wide as some trail cameras. The positive of that is it makes all of the animals seem a little bit closer, or appear that they're a little bit closer because of that narrow 55-degree lens. In fact, this trail camera by Ceyomur is one of their narrowest field of views of all their trail cameras. And again, that isn't necessarily good or bad, but you do have to keep note of that, and depends where you want to use this trail camera. You do have to pay close attention to your field of view to make sure you're going to capture exactly what you want to capture. So that's it. Those were the pros and cons after using this trail camera. One other thing to keep in mind, it does have a place for a security cable, so you can add that to the pro list. It also has password protection. You can enable or disable that depending on your needs. So there's a few more things I just remembered for the positive list. Overall, a good trail camera, less than $60 for this trail camera, so it's very affordable. And as you can see, the sample photos and videos, it performs quite well. This camera has been quite reliable, good trigger speed. The battery life has been extremely well. In fact, I believe that this camera has many close relatives. It may have been rebranded I have a Victure trail camera. The Victure 300, I believe, is nearly identical to this. There's also an 8-man H55, which again, I believe is almost identical to this. So the Ceyomur CY55, if you have any experience with those other trail cameras, you know they have been very reliable. I have several of each of those other models, so I have no reason to believe this one isn't going to be a long-term success and just a real workhorse at a very affordable price. So I'll place a link down in the description if you're interested in looking up more information about this, or maybe you want to purchase one for yourself. If you have any comments or questions, I really love hearing from you. Feel free to put them down in the comment section. I try and get back to each and every one of you. I also want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.